So this is case number 20000018. People versus, I'm sorry, it's a V. I got to. It's V11122019. City of Detroit versus Andrew Kurzik, and also B11222019. Same defendant. And today is the day to accept trial of these two matters. And good morning, counsel. Your appearances, please.
Tamika Horn on behalf of the people of the city of Detroit, P70303.
Good morning, Your Honor. Sanford Shulman appearing on behalf of Andrew Herzig, P43230. He's participating by way of video conferencing with his consent and permission.
And I'm sorry, I forgot to call the charges. The charges are identical on the two tickets. Failure to correct elevator code violation. Timely manner, and then I'm sorry, B111220 is failure to respect compliance. So I have a recommendation from the city.
Excuse me, Judge, but it's a whole bunch of noise going on.
I know. You know what? Do you need Mr. Flowers or any of the others? Somebody's making quite a bit of noise.
And if I'm anticipating what we've already discussed, Mr. Shulman, I believe your client plans to go forward with a plea.
Yes, Your Honor. Yes, Madam Prosecutor, yes.
All right. So is that better, Darnell? I'm sorry.
Yes, thank you.
So my understanding of the people's offer is that the defendant would tender pleas of guilty in both cases, and that the people are recommending a sentence agreement, which would be 1 year probation and to keep the building in code.
And that would be the buildings that we're expecting him to keep, all buildings that he owns within the city of Detroit up to code.
Okay, so it's not this particular building, because my understanding is he no longer owns it.
Yes, and we would ask that the defendant place on the record, subject to penalty of perjury, that the building is in fact sold and that there were no tenants in that building at the time it was sold.
So, Mr. Shulman, is that what your client wants to do today?
Yes, Your Honor. As a just brief background, Mr. Herzig had sold the building to the Central Detroit Christian Community Development. Lisa Johannan and I have been in touch, and I provided the people a copy of that letter. I've also received the closing documents, including the deed transfer, and also a copy of all the receipts for the elevator that he had been paying, which was total about $21,773. I note that because the building is no longer occupied. The new owners are now basically gutting it and renovating it, and that will include any code that they will have to ensure that maintained. But Mr. Herzig will tender a plea of guilty to the counts, acknowledging that at the time of the ticket, the elevator was not to code, but the offer and agreement is exactly as the people had represented. So he's advised me he wishes to plead guilty to that, and all the other terms and conditions as the court sets, including, I think it also will be $500 per. I don't know if Ms. Horn mentioned that, but she also suggested a fine of $500 on each of the tickets.
So, Mr. Herzig, you understand if I accept your pleas today, you are giving up the right to have a trial either by judge or jury in each of these matters.
Yes, Your Honor.
You understand you're giving up a number of rights associated with trial.
Yes, Your Honor.
other than what the people are recommending, which is basically a sentence agreement, has anyone promised you anything to make you plead today?
No, Your Honor.
Has anyone threatened you in any way?
No, Your Honor.
So between the dates of May 9th, 2019 and September 19th of 2019, were you the owner of the property commonly known as 2295 West Grand Boulevard in the city of Detroit?
Yes, Your Honor.
And it's a multi-unit building, it's a small apartment building, is that correct?
Yes, Your Honor.
And it has an elevator, is that correct?
Yes, Your Honor.
And during this period of time, was the elevator operable?
No, it was not, Your Honor.
And were there tenants living in the building at that point?
Yes, Your Honor.
Satisfied with the factual basis, Mr. Schulman?
Defense is satisfied.
Accept the defendant's plea, and these sentences, of course, are going to be concurrent. And I will sentence, Mr. Schulman, did you have anything other than what the people are recommending for sentencing?
No, Your Honor.
And Your Honor, we would ask that Mr. Herzig, or at least his attorney, ask him about the current transaction that purportedly occurred this year.
Yes, I could do that. You want me to do that, Judge? I can ask you those questions.
Yes, would you?
Yes.
My understanding is the building was sold, is that
Right.
correct?
Yes. Mr. Herzog, have you heard my remarks on the record today?
Yes, Mr. Schulman.
Are those true and accurate?
Yes, they are, Mr. Schulman.
In fact, you have sold to the Central Detroit Christian Community Development the property that's located at 2295 West Grand Boulevard in the city of Detroit.
Yes, the building was donated, Mr. Schulman.
And you have donated, so you have no interest in that building, and they own it all right and title, correct?
That is correct, Mr. Schulman.
All right. And also, by the way, you gave me receipts for that you paid for the elevator that began the process. Those are accurate as well. Is that true?
Yes, Mr. Schulman.
Okay. The defense is satisfied.
And, okay, so the recommended sentence is 1 year probation, concurrent on each file, and that any buildings that he owns in the city of Detroit be kept up to code.
That's correct, Your Honor.
And there's one last matter, Your Honor.
$500 in fines and costs on this ticket, which is 111219. And then my understanding is I will be sentencing him to a similar amount. And then, Mr. Schulman, you had something else?
Yes, Your Honor. There was a bond that had been posted. I'm not sure logistically if it's better for them to pay the fine, for him to pay the fine cost and the bond to be returned, or if it's better, easier logistically for the bond to cover the cost and the remainder returned. But I'll leave it to Your Honor's discretion.
So because of being closed during the pandemic,
yeah,
my suggestion is always to just pay it and wait for them to refund the bond.
Okay, fair enough.
Neither one is going to be very speedy, but at least the fines and costs, if you pay them, will be taken care of. When is your client going to pay the fines and costs?
Today.
So, and then I'm going to put refund bond.
Okay.
And Your Honor, we would ask also why there's no camera for Mr. Herzig, you know.
Yeah, I don't.
Do we have a question of whether he's Mr. Herzog, can you start your camera, please?
Yes, Your Honor. It says start my video. I was just afraid to hit the button in case I lost you. So I'm going to click on it now if that works.
Yeah.
Okay.
Can you?
Oh, we saw you for a second.
Can you see me now?
Yes.
And that is in fact Andrew Herzog. I know him in person.
Okay,
I can-
So my understanding was this 1-year probation. Are we asking that it be reporting or non-reporting?
report.
Well, the defense would ask for non-reporting, but I mean, as long as he's complying with paying the fines and costs and any other compliance, I don't think it needs to be reporting.
Yeah, probation is kind of a scarce resource.
Yes.
So I'm gonna make it non-reporting. But he is, there's a violation. All right. Anything further, or can we?
That's it, Judge.
conclude?
Nothing for.
Okay.
Thank you.
Then I'm
Thank you,
gonna
Judge.
excuse everybody.
Is that it, Your Honor? Are we off the record?
Not yet, I'm getting
Oh,
ready.
I'm sorry.